Hey people, my name is Argandios, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about Protection Paladin and all that surrounds in the Shadowlands expansion. Okay, covenants, conduits, soulbinds, legendaries, all that crap. So let's begin with covenants, their powers, and their soulbinds. We're going to begin with our heavy metal body part,
Something to
the
report?
necrosaurs. Yes.
Do not forsake
Okay,
your
every covenant
allies.
has two abilities, a general ability and a class-specific ability. The general ability of the Necrolords is called Fleshcraft, and we are going to be 4 seconds like this, pray into the heavens, and then we will get a shield which will give us about an absorption of about 20% of our life. Okay, it's a nice ability, it's not bad, it's better than the Kyrian ones, but well, it's not really great, especially because we paladins are one of the tanks with less life, which means it's kind of a bit less useful than for other tanks. It can increase if we use it near a corpse, but well, you see, we must stay put together, not moving, and all that. Now, the class covenant ability is Vanquisher's Hammer. Okay, it throws a hammer, it has 30-second cooldown, and it allows us to use our Wall of Glory and launch immediately a Shield of the Righteous. Okay, so to use the hammer now, I'm going to go a bit farther. See it, I throw the hammer, and now I can use World of Glory, and immediately I don't need to push a button. Okay, it launches also Shadow of the Righteous, which means we have the healing and the protection from Shadow of the Righteous in one global city, which is okay. What's the problem or the issue with this Covenant target? Okay, it's single target, purely single target. Okay, see, yeah, Shield of the Righteous have a AoE ability or AoE part, but is not like other Covenant abilities. Okay, so it can be fine for raids, but for Mythic Plus is kind of lackluster in that regard. Okay, it's not bad, but I don't see it really well. Regarding soulbinds, we have Marileth, Emeni, and Heimir. Emeni is a good covenant, a good soulbind in general, and Marileth is not bad either. Okay, either of them is okay. The weaker one is Heimir, basically. We will probably go with Emeni. As I say, I think it's a little bit better than Marileth, but the difference is not really so great. Okay, so choose whatever of them. I will go with Emeni, but your choice. Now let's go with Vampire Friends.
What is our next target?
Yes, here. Okay. The general ability for Benthir is Duro Shadows, which is basically a that's the clue, okay? Which gives us mobility, which is very good because we as paladins have the mobility of a kind of I don't know, a stone, something like that. Maybe a bit more. Okay, but I don't remember the word right now. Regarding our class ability, it's called Ashen Hallow. It's a casted ability, okay, and it puts kind of a consecration in the ground. As you can see, I don't need to put it just below myself, I can put it just below the mob I want to tank. Okay, and it will do a certain amount of damage to all the mobs in the area, a certain amount of healing to all the allies in the area. But the main thing here is that it will allow us to use Hammer of Wrath, like we will be using Avenging Wrath or the mob is under 20% life. Plus, this Hammer of Wrath will do extra damage, double damage. So I'm going to use it. Okay, see here. Use it immediately. Okay. So the amount of damage we do is better in single target because Hammer Wrath is the main thing which will do damage here. Okay, the amount of damage that the AoE does is okay, healing is okay, but it's mostly an active a damage ability. Okay, so this is the thing, and we have the worst problem of all with this ability. It's CD, it's cooldown. It's 4 minutes cooldown. It hits very hard, hits like a truck, but it has a 4-minute cooldown, which means we are not going to use it precisely very often. Okay? Keep that in mind. It's, as I say, it's AoE damage, it's single target damage, more single target than AoE, but it has a very, very long cooldown. So that's kind of a now, regarding soulbinds, we have Nadia, Theotar, and Draven. Nadia is probably the best soulbind here by far, because it will give us haste in a more or less regular basis, and haste is good both offensive and defensive. Okay, so I think it's the best one. Theotar and Draven are not bad. Okay, they are not really terrible, but I think they are below Nadia in this regard. Even when Draven is supposedly the tanky one. Okay. Now let's move to our fireplace. With the
You're a
nightflame.
special one,
Yes,
aren't you?
I want to use it. Okay, the general ability is called Soul Shape, and it basically teleports us and transforms us into this fox form. Okay, it's like the wolf form from the shamans, but in fox and for us. Okay, when we reactivate it, it teleports again. Now, like as I'm in a resting place, it does as long as I want. In place like Oddworld, dungeons, raids, it lasts for 12 seconds. Okay, it's a very nice ability for paladins because it gives us mobility, which is one of our well, lackluster places, same as with Panther. Regarding the class ability, you have blessing of the seasons. Okay, these are 4 blessings at all, and we are going to be swapping between them each time we use it. So we have here blessing of spring. It bless an ally for 30 seconds, increasing their healing down by 10% and healing received by 20%. So we want to use it in our healer if there is a lot of burst AoE damage. Okay, we're going to receive, or on ourselves if we are going to receive a lot of damage. So our healers can heal ourselves, can heal us easier. You must choose. Okay, we use it and then we pass to Blessing of the Summer. Bless an ally for 30 seconds. The cooldown of this ability is 45 seconds, so we are not going to have it active every time. And gives it a 45% chance to deal 50% additional damage as holy. This is good for things like warriors, rogues, that kind of things. Okay, and there are other 2 blessings. We have the next one will be Blessing of Autumn. Okay, which basically reduce the cooldown of a main ability for that spec by 50% faster. Okay, it's good for mage, for example. It's very good because they see this a lot, so they recover the cooldowns at 50% faster. Okay, it's very good for holy priest, for example. It's very good too because they use CD basis ability rotation, so it's very good for them. But okay, it's this is what it is. Okay, blessing of the atom. And finally we have Blessing of Winter, which will add a bit of damage to the player we launch it, and that player will put a debuff on the mobs where he's targeted, which will reduce it values it mobile sorry its speed by 50 up to 30%. Will go 3% by 3%, and their attack speed by 2% each stack, to a maximum of 20%. Okay. So the problem with this covenant ability is, okay, we have to micromanage it a lot. Okay, we have to say, okay, I want this in the mage, this in the rogue, this in the healer, this in myself, this in whatever. Okay, because Blessing of Winter is better in a class that makes damage very fast, same as with Blessing of Summer. So it's kind of meh. And if we want to use it while there's a burst of damage or whatever, we must go to the blessing we want to put and then hold the ability until the burst happens. Okay, we want to use it just when this boss uses this ability and whatever. Okay, we have to reach that blessing and then hold to use the ability until the boss does the ability. Okay, which means we are not going to use its full potential very easily. Regarding soulbinds, we have Ninja, Dreamweaver, and Korai. Ninja and Dreamweaver are both good options. Okay, Korai is probably the one that goes a bit far behind. Ninja is good for Mythic Plus because it has an ability that each time we interrupt makes a lot of damage, literally a lot, which is very good. Sorry. And then Dreamweaver is the one we will use for raiding. Okay, it's good for raiding. Dreamweaver is also good for Mythic Plus, so if you want to use only Dreamweaver, you will not be doing it. But it's simply Ninja is a more offensive soulbind, especially in Mythic Plus, where you are going to be interrupting a lot, and it's a nice plus. Okay. Now let's go with the last covenant, which is
by the Archon's grace,
or paladin friends. The general ability for the clearance is called Summon Steward, and we will summon this owl here.
Welcome, friend.
Will give us, well, a bit of flavor things.
My
and
pleasure.
These three files, okay? The files of Serenity. When we use it, it will heal us at 20% of our life, which is okay, and will remove every disease, poison, cures, and bleeds. What's the issue? We are paladins. We can remove both disease and poisons from ourselves easily, and we can also remove curses and bleeds by using our immunity effects, okay, Divine Shield or Blessing of Protection. So it's not really such a good general ability. Probably it's the worst general ability of the four for paladins is this one, okay, the Summon Steel Power. Then we have the class ability, which is called Divine Toll, okay. It has a 1 minute cooldown, and it basically will send 5 shields of the righteous, okay, Avenger shields to the mobs we are fighting. This ability has a very high synergy with First Avenger. The shields we can get from First Avenger thanks to this ability are huge, are very potent. So do not discard this ability only because the general ability is the worst one, okay? Now, problems with this ability. First one, okay, is very good in area damage, but for single target damage is kind of lackluster. Okay, you have a conduit that addresses that, but in single target damage is kind of and then we have another nice problem, because we are here, okay, you see, I'm going to fight this mob, I launch a very oh my god, I pulled these ones which I didn't want to pull at all, but they were near enough to pull them, so I have pulled them. So be sure to use it right. I'm going to restart the
What
ability.
troubles you?
So you can see
Welcome,
come
Mawwalker.
here. Okay, I use it again, and again I have pulled these ones here. I didn't want even to see them, okay, but I have pulled them. I learned this the hard way when I pulled a full room of mobs. I went to the center of the room. I say, oh, okay, I want to pull this with my nice Kyrian Covenant ability, and I pulled absolutely all the room, and it was a nice web, of course. So these are the covenants. Oh, I almost forgot the Kyrian soulbinds. Sorry. We have Pelagos, Clea, and Mechanicus. Mechanicus might see some uses in Mythic Plus, especially with the ability with I have forget it. Okay, the one which puts a debuff that impides healing, necrotic. With that affix, it can be kind of the way to go. But as for that, I don't think Mechanicos have really something to us. Clea can have some uses in PvP, and the one we are going to go by default is Pelagos. Okay, and that's all for the soulbinds in the Kyrian Covenant. So now let's begin with conduits. I'm going to begin with the Covenant conduits, as I have just talked about them, and they are potency conduits that we will see in a moment. And here they are, the potency conduits. So each potency conduit is for one of the covenants. Okay, the first one is the nuclear one, so it's Righteous Might. Vanquisher Hammer deals 20% increased damage and heals you for the damage done. Okay, a bit more damage, a bit more survivability, but it does not address the issues with this ability, which is it has no AoE component, area of damage component at all. Okay, for Ventil, the vampire things, we have Hallowed Discernment. Basically, Ashen Hallow strikes the lowest health ally and enemy within an additional time for and 40% to 96% of the effect. So it damages the lowest health mob and the lowest and heals more the lowest health ally. Nice utility, but does not really make it very special or very good or something like that. Okay. Now, like Night Fade, we have the Long Summer, which basically increases the duration of Blessing of Summer by a X% from 25% to 60% in this case. Okay, again, it does not change that we have to micromanage the blessings and we have to use them in the right moments or lose a bit of time or okay, whatever. So it's okay. Okay, Blessing of Summer is the one which increases the damage or a chance to increase the damage of one of our players by 30%. So it's nice, but nothing really crazy. And finally, we have Ringing Clarity, which is the conduit potency for the Kyrian ability. This one has a 40% chance to cast 3 extra times on the main target. Okay, which means we launch 3 Avenger Shields straight to the same target. It begins with 40% chance and ends with a 96% chance. So it's almost for sure in the last ranks that we will launch these 3 extra times, which means 3 extra shields, okay, if we pick the right talent, and it addresses one of the main problems with this ability, which is it lacks of single target damage. Okay, this conduit gives you precisely what the ability lacks, which is single target damage. So this one is a good Covenant conduit. Okay, the other 3 are kind of, well, okay, they are not bad, but this one is a good one because it addresses a serious issue which the Covenant ability has. So now let's go with the other conduits for the paladin, for the protection paladin. Let's go. Okay, so here we are. These are the, as you can see, I have chosen Night Fae. Was only for testing purposes, so don't think it's the best or something like that. Okay, and one of the soulbinds, so you can see more or less how this works. As you can see, these are the potency conduits. Protection Paladin have only two own potency conduits, but they have two extra endurance conduits. As you can see, I have here the potency conduit for the Covenant, which in this case is Talon Summer. If you have chosen Necrolords, we have the Necrolord one. If you have chosen Kyrian, you have the Kyrian one, and so on with the benefit. Okay, is one of the potency conduits. What more potency conduits do we have? Okay, we have Vengeful Shock. Avenger's Shield causes your target to take 3% increase holy damage for 5 seconds. They have good synergy with Fist Avenger and also with Cell of Righteous Fury. This is a legendary, I will talk about it later, okay? But you should know that the synergy is there. This is probably in Mythic Plus, this is the best potency conduit, probably. In raids, we will want to use Punish the Guilty. Shield of the Righteous deals 50% more damage to target affected by Judgment. If we pick this conduit, we will want to use Crusader Judgment, okay, because it's a very good synergy, and again has a good synergy with Cell of Righteous Fury. Now we have the potency Covenant conduit. This potency conduit goes here, in this slot with the crosses. Okay. Now let's go for finesse conduits. These are conduits that do things, but do not increase our DPS or something like that. First of all, we have Rangeable. Turn its cast time is reduced by X%, and its range is increased by 10 yards. There are a few dungeons where are undead, but we will not want to use Turnstable there, because it's the kind of fear that makes them run all over the place, picking all the pulls they can, so we don't want to use them. It is useful where? Well, it is useful in PvP against Death Knights, their pets, and when they use this ability that turn Death Knights into undeads, it can be useful. Outside of that, not worth it. Pure Concentration. Concentration Aura reduces the duration of becoming fear effects for your allies in X%. There are a few bosses in Mythic Plus and mobs that make fear effects, so this can be interesting for those dungeons. Outside of that, not really great. Light Sparding. Divine Stealth duration is increased by 50%. Probably the best finesse conduit for Protection Paladin, as our mobility is kind of lackluster, so this is a very good conduit for that. Okay, it helps a lot. And finally, we have Echoing Blessings. Blessing of Freedom increases the target's movement speed by 5%. Blessing of Protection and Blessing of Sacrifice reduce the target damage taken by 5% once the ability is finished, okay, and for 8 seconds. This can have some synergies with this legendary here, okay, with Utter Sanctuary, and well, it might be some uses if we need it, or if we are going to pick more than one finesse conduit, but outside of that, not really a great conduit, okay. And finally, we have the Endurance conduit. We have two conduits that are only for Protection Paladin, which are Royal Decree. Guardian of Ancient Kings cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. All these conduits are the lowest ranks, okay? So whatever conduit you upgrade, it will be better than this you are seeing here. By 15 seconds, and casting it causes your next Word of Glory to cost no holy power. This is a good conduit in general, okay? Probably the best one or the second best one. I will tell you what is the other one. So keep this one in mind. Resolute Defender. Shield of the Righteous extends the defender's duration by 20% and increases reduces cooldown by 1 second, or by X seconds. Okay, this conduit here has a very nice synergy with this legendary here, the Atem Protection Sanctum. But away from that, is not really that good. Okay, it's okay. It's an okay conduit. It's not bad, but I think it's slightly lower than Royal Decree or the next conduit, which is Shielding Walls. This is a conduit, an endurance conduit for all paladins, not only for protection paladin. And what it does is when you cast Word of Glory, it grants a shield that prevents damage equal to X% of the healing done. It lasts for 10 seconds. This is the best or second best conduit for protection paladin with Royal Decree. Okay, these are the two you will want in any case, because you are going to use Word of Glory very often, both in raids and in Mythic Plus. It also have a good synergy with the Necrolord Covenant ability. Okay, the hammer of whatever, I don't remember it. Now, Golden Path. Consecration heals you for an amount every X seconds while standing within it. This have a nice synergy with Consecrated Ground, but the health is not really so good. Okay, it's okay for the long of a fight or for the long of a Mythic Plus. It's noticeable, but it's not enough to really justify to pick it, especially having Shielding Walls or Royal Decree. It helps, but nothing more. And finally, we have Divine Call. Divine Shield's remaining cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds when you take damage. This effect can only happen once X seconds, in this time 48, but they go low. This conduit can have some uses in Necrotic Mythic Plus weeks, okay, but outside of that, I don't see it very good conduit for anything else. So now let's move to legendaries. The first one is Holy Avenger's Engraved Shield. Your Avenger's Shield has a 50% chance to have its cooldown instantly reset when used. This is our best legendary overall, okay. It makes sure it increases our damage and increases our protection if we pick First Avenger. Okay, there's a synergy here and we must use it if we want to really use this legendary, okay, because they are a very potent combo. Now, other legendaries. We have Reign of Endless Kings. When you drop below 20% health, you become infused with Guardian of the Ancient Kings for 4 seconds. This cannot happen again in 45 seconds. Okay, it can be some uses if we have a boss that is going to do a very huge amount of damage and we are going to be below this health. Okay, we can use it, but I don't see it being really the legendary. Okay, the Arden Protector Sanctum, I have talked about it already because this have a synergy with one of the conduits. Reduce damage taken when Arden Defender is active by an additional 10%, and when you activated Arden Defender, it will also apply on the nearest ally within 15 yards. For bosses in which the boss hits both tanks at the same time, this is a very good legendary, okay, but away from that, it's mostly worthless. So if you have that situation, you can pick it. If not, leave it all. Seal of Righteous Fury. Away from all the synergies, if you want to go as offensive protection paladin in Mythic Plus, this is your legendary. Okay, but do not pick it in ring. Pick it in shoulders, I think it was. Let me see here. Yes, shoulder. Pick it in shoulders because it's much better in shoulders than it is in ring. Okay, and as you can see, this is great for protection paladin offensive in Mythic Plus. You are going to do great amount of damage by far. No other legendary can compete with this one in Mythic Plus. No, these two are two Retribution Paladin legendaries, but they are extremely good for protection paladin in its own way. So let me show them. Vanguard's Momentum. Hammer of Wrath has an extra charge and increases holy damage done by 3% for each second, stacking to 3 times, which means 9% extra damage. If you want to go offensive paladin raid with only one boss, this is your legendary. This is the best one. Okay, there are others that are near it, but this is the best one in single target. This is also good for PvP, etc. But this is the best one in offensive. No, Relentless Inquisitor, another Retribution Paladin legendary, Spending holy power grants you 1% haste per finish for 12 seconds, stacking up to 6 times, which is 6% haste. This is very good offensive, very good defensively, and what is more important, this is the best legendary if you want to pick. If you're going to multi-spec, you want to play Retribution, Holy, and Protection, this is your choice, because it's a good legendary for both 3 specs. Okay? Good for protection, good for retribution, good for holy. It's not the best, but it's good for all of them. So if you want to multi-pack at the beginning of the expansion, this is your legendary. Now, general legendaries for paladin. Sight of Tuscan down. If you reach 5 holy power, you deal extra 6% damage of healing. If you are down to 0 holy power, the damage you take is reduced by 30%. This changed our way to play the spec, because we want to move between 5 and 0 holy power, but unless you want to really change the way you play, another playstyle, it's not worth it. Okay, so pick it only if you are bored from the usual paladin stuff and you want to pick something different and play in a different way. Outside of that, no reason to pick it. Mad Paragon's Pursuit. Hammer of Wrath deals 50% additional damage and extends the duration of Avenging Wrath by 1 second. This is another good legendary for single target, but is not as good as Vanguard's Momentum, so I would not pick it. It's your choice anyway. Other Sanctums, your Blessing of Freedom, Blessing of Sacrifice, and Blessing of Protection cooldowns are reduced by 1 sec per holy power spent. These have a good synergy with the conduit I talked about before, and unless there is a fight when you need to use really Blessing of Protection or Blessing of Sacrifice or Blessing of Freedom a lot, you will not pick this legendary at all. And finally we have the Magistrate's Judgment. Judgment has a 45% chance to reduce the cost of general holy power spender by 1. This is the other legendary that you can pick if you are going to play all the specs. Okay, it's good for holy, for protection, and for retribution. What's the issue? The issue is Relentless Inquisitor is much better. Okay, away from that, if you pick this legendary, you will want it in okay, I have nothing it in here. I thought I have. Well, whatever is not in ruin. Okay. Now let's go with general legendaries good for every spec, for every class. Sephuz Proclamation. It reduces effectiveness of crowd control effects by 10%, and when you interrupt, put a crowd control or dispel something, you gain 80 of all or secondary stats for 15 seconds. If you are going to both PvP and Mythic Plus, this is your legendary. Because in Mythic Plus there are a lot of interrupts, there are a lot of dispels, there are a lot of diseases and venoms that you can dispel, and there are a lot of times you are going to CC something. So it is going to be active a lot of time in Mythic Plus, so it is a very great legendary for it. It comes in chest, do not pick it in neck like I have done here, pick it in chest, and especially for 45 weeks it's very good. Okay, I have tested and it's very good. It also helps because there are several mobs in Mythic Plus that fears, stuns, roots, and all of that, so it's good for that too. Judgment of the Arbiter. Their damage have a high chance to release a blast and do more damage. It increases damage by about 3-4%. Okay, it's not really that good. It's okay, but not really that good. Maw Rattle. We kill something, it might spawn a rat that will go to the next mob and do damage. Might see some uses in Outlaw Wall, in PvP, in Mythic Plus, and in Torghast, but it's not the best by far, so I will not pick it. Vitality Sacrifice. Taking significant damage from a player or elite enemy increases your damage and healing by 3% of the damage taken, up to a maximum of 9% for 20 seconds. For Protection Paladin, this is a very good offensive option. Okay, it's really near here Vanguard's Momentum and Seal of Righteous Fury, but it does not really reach it. Okay, it's okay, but not really so good as these ones, okay? But if you want an option that works both in Mythic Plus, in PvP, and in Raid, this is the offensive option to go, okay? Outside of that, go with these ones and forget about this. Echo of Ionar, your spell's ability have a low chance, and very low chance, to summon a speed, which will give us 10% damage reduction. It goes to another 2 players near, so it might see some uses in Wraith, perhaps, maybe, especially if you have 3 tanks, but also outside of that is worthless. Fear the Eye of the Jailer, it gives you several points of strength, 1% per tech second, stacking up to 7, so 7%. Each time you kill an enemy. The best place for this legendary is Thorghast, but outside of Thorghast, maybe Outdoor Wall and Mythic Plus a bit, but it's not a good legendary, okay? It's not really so good. It's okay, but not really so good. I usually not use it. Stable Phantasmal Lure. This legendary is only good in Thorghast. It's the only place you are going to use it. If you are going to run Thorghast and Thorghast and Thorghast again, then pick it, because it will make your life very easier. I must say that. But outside of Thorghast is absolutely useless. And finally we have Norgan Sagacity. The only way I have seen this legendary to be useful for protection paladin is if you pick the Necrolords and to cast the shield while we are moving. Okay, is the only situation in which I can say, okay, this legendary can be useful. Outside of that, is totally worthless. We will not use it at all. And this has been all. I hope I have helped you to choose the covenant you want to choose. All the covenants have pros and have cons, so look at them and then choose the one you like. It's the best I can tell you. Okay, I don't really see one covenant being really often ahead of another in, well, their abilities can make one covenant ahead of another in some situations, but worse in others. So pick the one you like, and I hope I have helped you also to, well, see what legendaries you want to pick first, and conduits, what to upgrade first, and all of that. Stay safe, be happy, have fun in Shadowlands, and see you in another one.